Welcome back, friends. This is Dr. Mlelwa Lecturers. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and to click the bell, then put all for more updates. To join our Telegram group for discussions, just click show more in the description. Then if you scroll down, you'll see the links for the O-level and the A-level group. Welcome back, friends. This is coordination session 24. In the previous session, we discussed about the different types of synapses, and if you remember, we said we have the electrical and then we have the chemical synapse. And if you recap this diagram, you remember different things that we discussed here. So in this session, we are going to discuss about the structure of synapse and the synapse which we'll be studying here is the chemical synapse. Why are we studying chemical synapse? Because in most of the body parts, the synapse which are more numerous, they are chemical synapse rather than electrical synapse. But also we said the electrical synapse they act at the gap junctions. If you remember when we was discussing about the epithelial cells in the topic of nutrition, we didn't discuss in detail, but among the epithelial cells, one among the features of the epithelial cells is that they have the gap junctions in the lateral surface. Lateral surface means the surface which make the boundary between one epithelial cell and another. So the gap junctions are their presence in the myocytes, that is in the heart muscles, and in smooth muscles, and that help the heart muscles to contract together and to make the speed of contraction of the heart and the pumping of the blood to be very easier. That's why if we go to read in the transportation, if we go to read how the heart generates its own impulse, on how the heart generates its own impulse through atrioventricular node, then we shall see how this happen. So now let's go to discuss about the structure of the synapse. Now we are discussing about the structure of the chemical synapse. I'm repeating again, we are discussing the structure of the chemical synapse. So at the synapse, the nerve axon is expanded to form the bulbous end called the axon terminal, or in another name, the baton terminale. So as we know that we have the dendrites, then the cell body, then the axon. So at the end, the axon divides into different fibers, and then at the end of the fibers they expand, because zile axons they are divided kwenda kwenye fibers, lakini zikisha divide kule mwishoni zina expand, zinakuwa kubwa. Hizo expansion zake zinaitwa axon terminal or baton terminale, au jina jingine zinaitwa synaptic knob. So they lie in close proximity with the membrane of the dendrite. Now the cytoplasm of the synaptic knob contain many mitochondria. Synaptic knob means it is where the impulse comes from, ndio kule ambako impulse inatokea. So the mitochondria, they are necessary for energy. Then we have microfilaments and the structures called synaptic vessels. The synaptic vessels are just like circular in shape, and they have the diameter of about 50 nanometer. So the vesicles contain a neurotransmitter substance such as acetylcholine or noradrenaline. But for this case, and even for the case of transmission of the nerve impulse, mechanism of transmission of the nerve impulse through the synapse, we'll be discussing by using acetylcholine as the sample neurotransmitter. So the neuron immediately before the synapse is called the presynaptic neuron and is bounded by the thickened membrane called the presynaptic membrane. So presynaptic membrane iko kule nyuma kwenye ile neuron ya nyuma, na hiyo membrane ambayo ni presynaptic membrane inakuwa the membrane of presynaptic knob near the synapse. Kwa Hii presynaptic membrane kwa jina jingine ni kama membrane ya presynaptic knob near the synapse. The neuron after the synapse is the post-synaptic neuron and is bounded by the thickened membrane called post-synaptic membrane, the membrane of dendrite. So post-synaptic membrane is the membrane of dendrite, and the presynaptic membrane is the membrane of presynaptic knob. Now between the two is a narrow gap which is about 20 micrometer wide called synaptic cleft. Synaptic cleft, and as we said before that synaptic cleft only exists in the chemical synapse. Now the presynaptic membrane is modified for the attachment of synaptic vessels and the release of transmitter substance into the synaptic cleft. The post-synaptic membrane possesses a number of large proteins called or known as receptor molecules, which act as the receptor sites for transmitter substance and numerous channels and pores, normally closed for the movement of ions into the post-synaptic neuron. As started kama ambavyo tumesoma mwanzoni kwamba synaptic vessels they contain neurotransmitter or transmitter substance. So neurotransmitter ni kama neno refu, a transmitter substance in the short term. Now is produced in the cell body of the neuron. Neurotransmitter they are produced by the cell body of the neuron, from where it is passed down the axon to the synaptic knob. Synthesis of transmitter substance requires enzymes produced by ribosomes in the cell body. So the enzymes produced by ribosomes in the cell body they are moving down the axon to the synaptic knob, where they are used in the synthesis of the neurotransmitters. So no, I mean the enzymes they are produced by ribosomes in the cell body, and they are used in the cell body to produce the neurotransmitters. So this is the diagram which shows the structure of the synapse. Actually the diagram can be not clear, but this diagram is present in the understanding biology book. Understanding biology book. I failed to get the diagram which is more clear for illustration, but please I beg you to stay with me when I'm explaining this diagram, and I hope we will understand each other when I'm explaining the structure of synapse. So hii hapa ndo synapse ambayo inakuwa inakuja, ndo axon. Kwa hii ndo axon, unaona hapa wamerebo axon of presynaptic neuron. Tukitoka kwenye hii axon hapo unaona kabisa ina myelin sheath iliyozunguka. Kwa axon hii hapa maana yake ni myelinated axon, ina myelin sheath iliyozunguka. Tukitoka kwenye axon hapa unaona hii imeexpand hapa, imekuwa nene hivi. Kwa hii hapa ndio inaita nini? Bulbous terminale. Kwa maana yake ni bulbous end, mwisho wa hii nini axon yetu kumeexpand kama hivi. Kwa hiyo ndio bulbous terminale ya axon yetu. Kwa unaona the axon terminal which is synaptic knob. Kwa hii hapa ndio jina lake jingine inaitwa synaptic knob. Unaona ina nini? Tuna mitochondria hapo. Mitochondria zinaproduce energy. Then tuna smooth endoplasmic reticulum, tuna synaptic vesicles. Kwa hiyo ni vesicle. Ndani ya vesicle kuna nini? Kuna neurotransmitters. Then we have microfilaments. So this is just the simple structure ya nini? Presynaptic knob or synaptic knob. Ila nyingine inaitwa axon terminal or bulbous terminale. Kwa inakuwa inaonekana kama hivyo hapo. Kwa hii membrane sasa, hii membrane tulisema kwamba the membrane before the synapse, hii membrane is thickened, and this membrane is what we call the presynaptic membrane. Hii membrane. Kwa hii ndo presynaptic membrane. Na hii membrane tumesema kwenye structure kwamba it is adapted for fusion, manake tena kuona kwenye mechanism ya transmission na nerve impulse kwamba our vesicles wanatoka hapa wana fuse na hii membrane. wana release neurotransmitter kuja hapa. Wakisha release neurotransmitter kuja hapa, hizi neurotransmitters hapa zina bind kwenye receptor. Au kunaona hawa ndo receptor molecules, au hapa wana bind kwenye nini? Kwenye receptor. Wakisha bind kwenye receptor molecules hizi hapa, ndio sasa wanasababisha ion channel hapa zifunguke. Maana yake hizi receptor ikibind tu neurotransmitters zina open, ziko open, sodium zinaingia. Sodium zikiingia maana yake nini? Depolarization inatokea, action potential inatengenezwa hapo, nerve impulse inatoka inashuka. Kwa kama ambavyo unaweza kuona hapo kwenye hiyo diagram, hii ndio tunaita nini? Post-Synaptic Membrane. Hii hapa, hii hapa ambayo ni blue, kama blue ni color, hiyo ni Post-Synaptic Membrane. Hizi hapa unaziona hizi wamerebo hapa. Hii hapa inaonyesha kama a cone, kama a triangle. This is the site of the enzyme acetylcholine. Kwa hiyo ni enzyme acetylcholine. Tutaenda kuona inafanya kazi gani. Inafanya kazi gani acetylcholine kwenye hiyo enzyme, inafanya kazi gani? Lakini hizi ndio receptor molecule, specific receptor. Hii space hapa katikati ndio inaitwa synaptic cleft. Alafu hiyo ndo axon for post-synaptic neuron. Hii hapa inaitwaje? Membrane of post-synaptic neuron. Kwa unaweza kuona tu kwamba hii ni mwisho wa axon. Hii hapa nini? Ni axon nyingine au ni dendrite nyingine. Dendrite nyingine. Hii dendrite kichukua inaenda kupeleka wapi? Kwenye cell body. Kwenye cell body inaenda wapi? Kwenye axon nyingine. Maisha yanaendelea. So let's end here. In the next session we will be looking at the synaptic transmission, how the impulse travel in the synapse, and the whole mechanism step by step, how the impulse travel across the synapse. Thank you everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and to share the video to your fellow students. Thank you. Let me wish you nice studies.